How grateful are you in hindsight that the Bill Belichick news regarding this year's Hall of Fame process was hashed out last week versus what the cycle would have been if we all found that out in real time last
It,
night?
it certainly worked out from that standpoint. I mean, I'm disappointed that it got out because I care a lot about this process. A whole lot of people put a whole lot of time into this and take it very seriously, and you want to be good custodians of that process. But I think had it been announced last night at about 10 o'clock Eastern time, in front of a national television audience, there would have certainly been an uproar. They would have probably taken some of the shine off a really deserving class. I mean, say what you will, Roger Craig is in the Hall of Fame instead of Bill Belichick this year, largely because of the way they built that system, where you've got three seniors and a coach and a contributor voting, being voted against each other. If those, if we did this the old way where Bill was up for a yes/no vote, he would have probably gotten, somewhere north of 45 of the 50 votes. Let's be honest, because he's that guy. I mean, when you start talking about coaches, he's Vince Lombardi, he's Bill Walsh, whatever name you want to say, he's in that same club. So I think it's probably fortunate from that standpoint it got out early, because it would have been unfair to have taken away any of the shine from a Luke Kuechly or a Drew Brees or a Adam Vinatieri or Larry Fitzgerald.
You made a point to say you care a lot about the process and how it's supposed to be done. There are a lot of people who've criticized that process over the last week. If you're able to share your ballot, I'd love to know how you voted when it comes to Bill, but more importantly, what was the lesson you took away from him being left off, if any?
Well, I think, again, this was, and as I mentioned, when Pablo Torre and his producers were trying to get me to vote anonymously on things last week, I told them I wasn't going to participate in that kind of witch hunt, because that's what it turns into, is when you start looking for the Belichick 11 or whatever you want to call it, that takes away from the fact that there were a lot of people engaged in that process who wanted to vote for seniors instead of coaches. And there are people who want to vote for coaches and players rather than owners. I mean, personally, I don't mind telling you this now that we're on the other side of it. I voted for Bill, and I voted for a couple of seniors. I just tend to look at things from the standpoint of it's Football Hall of Fame. I prefer people who wear helmets and whistles than people who wear suits and own things, or commissioners. That's just my personal philosophy on this thing. Other people's experiences may vary, but I thought, and I have always, when I approach this process, just vote for the best people on the ballot. I thought a year ago that Luke and Adam were probably the two best people on that ballot, and they didn't get in their first years of eligibility. So when people twist themselves up trying to think of, oh, if I vote for this guy over here, not over here, then, you get yourself in trouble, because what's the simplest thing to do? Vote for the best people. And that's what I did.